Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to speak about the subject of what harsh truths do people tend to ignore. The thing is that obviously the world is a very cruel place. We feel very safe in our little world, in our little bubble and stuff like that. But there's a lot of harsh truths that are happening to us as individuals, but also as a world and a country. I think first of all, harsh truths that we tend to ignore are the fact that we are mortal and that we are very fragile. So we tend to often live life as if we were going to live forever, especially in our young age, because we've never maybe had anything really atrocious happen to us health-wise. So we just take it for granted, and also the fact that in some way we're all naive. The younger we are, and as we get older, well, this naivety kind of goes away, and then little by little you start realizing that maybe things are not as simple as you may expect them to be. And then when you see also people from your family or people around you, or if you see atrocities around the world happening, then you also realize that, well, people can just die in the blink of an eye, and it doesn't matter if you have this illusion or if you look at yourself as if you were eternal, be it your parents, yourself, your family, your friends, everything is ever moving. So we tend to close our eyes on that, and we sometimes don't want to talk about death and don't want to talk about the sad things, but they are there. And they are here for us to stay, because that's one thing that everybody's going to have, no matter if they're healthy, young, old, or whatever it is. They're going to die. So that's the price to pay when you're born. So that's something that we tend to close our eyes on. Another thing is, I think a lot of people tend to close their eyes on the rest of the world. For example, now there's huge bushfires happening all over Australia, with a lot of tons of animals dying. Over 500 million have died, and at the same time, now we're kind of taking the situation to heart, and we're becoming aware of it because people are talking about it. But at the same time, then you look at other things, such as the fact that maybe all these animals that have died, well, it's the same equivalent of animals that are slaughtered every single day, or every couple of days, to feed us, the 7.5 billion people that live on this earth. And that's the crazy part. And yes, the Australian ecosystem is actually more fragile, because the fact is that it's a lot of animals that are only there in this world. They only exist in that part of the world, so they could get extinct. But at the same time, we're not taking into account that we willingly, as a society, kill maybe 500 million animals in the space of 2-3 days to feed ourselves with burgers and food and steaks and all these other things throughout the whole world. And that's something that we kind of tend to close our eyes on. It's the same thing that we are living a normal life right here. At least I'm here in America. You could be somewhere else in some other country. And yet, in some other places, they're dying of poverty, or they're at war. And, with Siberia, like Syria, and like now with Iran, and with all these things, and all these actually bombs that have exploded in places like India and stuff like that, and we barely talk about it. The media decides to talk about the things that they want to talk about, and then ignore the rest because they're not part of the first world country. And that's where it's sad, because we are closing our eyes to those things. So there's the closing of our eyes within ourselves to mortality and all these things, and then there's the closing of our eyes to the rest of the world and how the world lives and how the world is supposed to be and how the world So we live in this kind of like little bubble, and we act as if everything is perfect and everything is happening and everything is okay. But at the same time, there's disasters everywhere. And just taking into account in the whole history of the US, the country, the United States, there's only been about 7 years of the US not being at war. And then we criticize countries such as China, and yeah, they do have strict government rules and all that stuff. But then you look through the history, and in the same history of 1492 or whatever it is to now, China has been at war for 0 years or just a few years, So that's where you kind of think like, well, that's not normal. But yet we close our eyes and then we say that we are in freedom, we're living in freedom, but it's not really the case. So I just think educate yourself, learn about the truths of the world, and stop living in a bubble. That's all I can say. That's it. That's all I have to say on the subject. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.